How much money should you budget to get started in real estate wholesaling? So this is a question that I get every so often, and it usually has to do with beginners, obviously, because once you close a couple of deals, then you can just simply reinvest that money back into the business. So now, how much money should you budget to be able to get into the business? And I really recommend that you budget like a few months worth of income, so that way you can be able to consistently do this and consistently bring in leads, because there's no way I can guarantee someone that they send out marketing and it will guarantee them a result immediately. Unless you spend a decent amount of money, then I could honestly almost guarantee it. But if you're getting started, usually a lot of people don't have a lot of money to work with. So if you're one of those people that straight up can't set aside any money whatsoever to get started into the business, then I really recommend that you go get a job or find some way to be able to save up enough money to maybe get about a few hundred to like $500 a month. So as a beginner, if you're getting started, I really recommend a solid budget of about $500 a month. And that would be if you are doing something along the lines of cold calling. So if you have a little bit more time in the day available to get started in this business, I really recommend cold calling for beginners, because not only is it one of like the most cost-effective ways to get into the business, but on top of that, it's one of the best ways to gain experience and learn how to talk to sellers. Because one of the biggest setbacks for a lot of beginners is they don't know how to talk to sellers, and that's the most important part of the business. Figuring out whether or not a lead is a hot lead or a cold lead or a warm lead. You need to really know the difference of this, so that way you can improve your skills and focus more on the hot leads, so that way you can be closing more and more deals as time goes on. Because I don't know about you, but if I'm getting into something, I really want to make sure that it can make me money over a longer period of time rather than right then and there. So I recommend whatever you can, try to get about $500 a month. And what I would do with that money is I would spend probably about 100 or so of it on a list. And usually lists, they range between like 5 and 15 cents a lead. So with that much money, you can get about 2,000 leads or so. And then on top of that, what you'll want to do is skip trace these leads. And this is a little bit more of the expensive part, but you don't want to cheap out on this part. And so usually skip tracing costs about 25 cents. And so you can do the math there, what everything's going to run for. And I really recommend that you use the links down in the description down below for all of these resources. You can buy lists there. You can also buy the skip tracing, or what you can also do is just go to the county and get a free list, so that way you can get started. Usually like a tax delinquency or a probates or something along those lines. And usually for the most part, most counties, those are usually free. And then what I would also really highly recommend, if you have a budget of about $500 a month, I really recommend that you get a auto dialer. So something along the lines of like Mojo Dialer. So it's like at mojosells.com, and I think last time I checked, it was like $80 for the beginner pack, like for the one dialer, and then you can have it set up so it can ring 3 phones at a time, and that was like $130 or something like that. At least get the basic dialer, or if you have the budget available, get the where it has 3 dialers, because then it'll save you a lot of time, and it has its own like kind of built-in database inside of there, so you can keep track of phone calls and everything like that. And then on top of that, I would also it just saves you so much time, because you don't have to manually dial every single phone number and get all of that set up. I would use something along the lines of like a Google Voice number or something like that for the dialer specifically, because you just need some sort of phone number to call out of. And that's what I would get set up for that, and it keeps track of everything inside of there. And then what I would do on top of that is just try to call as much as possible. Obviously, this is going to be pretty work intensive. You're going to have to make a decent amount of phone calls to be able to start building up your database, start getting some leads. But as time goes, if you do this for let's say 3 months, and you spend the $500 into investing into the skip tracing and the leads and the dialer, after about 3 months, you should be able to, I would say it's almost like a guarantee that you'll close a deal. The longer it goes, as long as you call every single phone number, I would say 3 to 5 times. That would be my biggest recommendation, so you can get the most use out of these lists and try to find the most sellers as possible. So that's kind of like my beginner budget. Now, if you have a little bit more money to invest, now this really just depends on what your schedule looks like. So if you're trying to learn the most as possible and you have a lot of time available, I would really recommend that you do the same, but maybe just buy more lists if you have more time available. About $500 a month should get you covered for like 3 weeks to like a month. So that should be fine. But if you have a little bit more money to spend, maybe spend a little bit more money on some other marketing strategy as well. Like you can do something along the lines of direct mail or other things like that. At that point, if you have like, let's say $1,000 a month to work with, then I really recommend that you hire some sort of mentor or course or some sort of coaching program, so that way you can get a little bit more insights and you can save yourself a little bit more time. So I know for a fact that I sell mine for $500. I know a lot of other people are around that same budget, so I would really recommend that you get into somebody's program. You may be able to find someone for less. I just know that that's my own price on mine. So I would get someone to help you out and then get more direct advice on what to do. So that way you know step by step exactly what you need to do to take action, and you're not necessarily wasting a lot of time. You can learn some of these skills a lot faster with direct help than trying to find a bunch of free stuff online. I know I cover everything on this channel, but it would save you so much more time to be able to just have 30 videos and that's it. That's like literally all you know, rather than this channel where it's like 400. So I recommend that you would get a course and then just do what they tell you to do inside of there and take the step-by-step guide on what they have inside of that course, because then it will save you so much more time. So that's what I really recommend for budgets. I mean, if you have a little bit more to spend, like let's say that you have $5,000 or something like that a month, a little bit more that usually the average beginner doesn't have to work with, then something like I would just probably budget it over the next few months and just pick some sort of marketing strategy. Really any marketing strategy at that point you can afford to do and just pick up on and just consistently do it. I would recommend that you do everything. I wouldn't outsource anything just yet, and just do everything that you can to maybe close like 1 to 3 deals and do what I told you inside of this video. And then from there, as you start to close a couple of deals, then just reinvest those and try to build systems in place, so that way you can have deals kind of close on autopilot and you don't necessarily have to be the one closing everything, and you can be a little bit more focused on what's making you the most money versus doing a lot of these mindless $10 an hour tasks. So that's what I got for you guys. Hopefully this video was able to provide you guys a little bit of some insight on what you should do. So anyways, if you haven't already, join the fam, join the gang by hitting the subscribe button down below, and make sure you smash that like button. So anyways, hope you guys had a happy Wednesday, and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.